Well, it rained for, my God, days, days and days. And I'm just getting too old to work in that kind of weather. So I took a little time off, came back out today just to sort of scout things and see what I have left to do in this section of the woods. And I actually have quite a bit. Gonna pull that one log there. Now this tree right here, that's actually quite large, probably close to 30, as is this one right here. And this one does not want to go the direction I want it to go. So those two trees will come down today and tomorrow, next day. Now this one right here is a smaller tree. It might be, I don't know, maybe 20 inches. And that's at the lower limit of what I'm going to take. But I've got a couple in here, and then I'm going to leave a couple. I'm going to leave that one, I think. Take this one, and there's a couple over there. You can't see them with the camera, but I'll grab those. And then these two very large trees. So I brought out the tractor and two saws. I got the 572 with a 28-inch bar. Put a new chain on that one. I'll use that on one of these big trees. And on the smaller tree, I want to see if I can get away with the 24-inch bar. I can. It's just a matter of how much, whittling you got to do. Now, the lean is neutral, maybe a little favorable. I want to set it right down there, so I'll probably take out these little poplar trees, just so I don't have things coming back at me. And I've got that root flare. Now, a lot of discussion online about felling. Everybody does their own damn thing, and I don't consider myself an expert on much of anything, but I can put them on the ground safely. One of the things I see over and over and over is guys where the trees go awry and they really don't have enough face cut angle, and what happens is as soon as that face closes, you basically have a lever arm about the front of the face cut where the tree jacks the back end up and then it goes wherever it wants unless there's something to keep it there. Usually the hinge, if it doesn't break, will keep the tree from jumping back. But I saw a guy do something, I don't think he figured out what happened yet either, where it come back on him and you look at it and yeah, the reason why it broke is because the hinge closed. He only had about 15-degree face cut. The damn thing closed, jacked the thing up, broke the hinge, and now it went off to the side and came back at him. And, they're off thinking about other things, but the fact of the matter is once the hinge breaks, unless you have other fundamentals in play, like a higher back cut or something like that, the tree is pretty much going to go where it wants to go. Sometimes that's what you want, and sometimes it goes where it wants. So that's one thing. Now, you don't have to always have these huge face cuts like I do. And one of the, I think, more experienced but also more thoughtful people on YouTube who actually does a whole bunch of training makes a point of, hey, you don't have to do such a big face cut because oftentimes it just is a waste of time. So I thought about that quite a bit, and what I've discovered over years is it's true. There's certain trees where you don't have to have that much of a face cut, and the hinge will break at a reasonable time. I think that's the point. Is you just have to have enough of an angle in your face cut to where the tree goes where you want. The hinge guides it, but also the hinge is either broken or compromised to the point where it doesn't matter before the face closes. And that's really it. And that could be 20 degrees on certain type of brittle trees. It could be 50, 60, 70 degrees on stringier trees, or like what I have, sometimes you got to have a wide open face. So that's point number one. The face angle really is determined by when the hinge breaks and no longer is a controlling factor. And after that point, the angle, the face cut's less important. But the second part of that is, like I mentioned in the beginning of this little monologue, is now it closes and the front part of the hinge jacks the back of the tree. If the tree is going to go forwards anyway, like if you have a Humboldt, it's going to go down the face anyway, it doesn't matter, which is actually one of the reasons why Humboldt makes sense. You know, there's a lot of reasons why at that point it doesn't matter. But if you're felling uphill, for example, or that tree runs into branches and wants to push the tree back, it does matter, because once that face closes, the back goes up. If there's no high cut in the back to keep it from moving, it can come right back on you. And the last point is, on trees like this with that huge root flare, I got to cut a lot of that root flare off anyway. So whether I cut it off during the felling or I cut it off afterwards, you know, it's a little bit, I don't know, doesn't really matter. If I cut it off afterwards, possibly I can cut that root flare faster because I have a better angle relative to the grain. But when I can use the root flare as a hinge and keep the hinge out of the possible, you know, good wood that's going to be sold to the mill, I see that as an advantage. And if I do the very wide open face cut where I use that root flare, I'm also cutting off the excess root flare while I'm in the process of felling the tree. So I save one cut after the tree is in fact on the ground. Something I don't think people think about. But something I thought about. And I'm not, you know, trying to be hyper efficient anyway. I just want to be safe and to get as much of these trees, you know, as I can where I can sell them. Maybe I do that tree. That's a big ass tree right there. Maybe I can do that with a 24. Efficient. Now, if I don't have to cut the root flare and I go ahead and make a wide open face cut, yeah, unless there's a reason, for example, very, very stringy, and I really don't want the hinge to close too soon, the less angle means there's less cut time, less chips on the ground. And for the production guys, that absolutely is correct. But every situation's different, and there's some people who don't think about it, so they go into a procedure and can waste time. But there's other people who do think about it, and sometimes that wide open face, while it may not cost a lot of time, can save a lot of hassle. And everybody's different, and like I said, I don't consider myself an expert of much of anything. But let me look at this tree. That's a big tree. My log buyer gave me a little nudge. One of those get your ass in gear type nudges. Yeah, that tree should come down. You know, I like to get them before they get over mature. When you start seeing that cauliflower type right here, like this tree here, I might as well take it. Even though it's small, it's never going to be any more valuable, you know. But which way does this one want to go? Yeah, that's why I didn't take it first, because it wants to come right back at me. And I see another one over there. Yeah, there's a few in here. Boy, they've taken off. Now, if you look at these stumps, 20 years ago, that's what I used to do. Oh my God, look at that. This is 20 years later, and the ones I left, you know, have now turned into things like that. You know, they're like that one over there. They're 5 or 10 years away from being really, really nice trees. So, I think I will take this one. I don't know if I'm going to take it today. So let me see, there's a little bit of entanglement up there, but I don't think I see any. I don't think they're going to pull anything down on me. I'm still going to exit out from underneath it. So let me do a little bit of cleanup here. Put the camera away here and get right to it. Alright, I gotta go change out this chain. It's not worth cutting with. Alright, another new out of the box C85. Let's see if this one works. That was pretty frustrating. Well, it should go. Cuts didn't match up. I really needed my 28 on that. But I think what I'm going to do is focus on the hinge. And like I usually do. So you can see what it does. Even with mismatched cuts. Well, pretty much went where I wanted it to. Not the prettiest job, but well, pretty much went where I wanted it to. Not the prettiest job, but low stump and it's on the ground safe. So let me cut the top out of it and trim the rest of the root flares off, and then we'll think about getting this thing up and out of there. Yeah, I didn't get any tear. That's not a tapped tree, by the way. Again, the reason I did that is because I'm getting old, and the majority of that tree is already cut. So what I'll do is I'll poke in from where I broke out the side, and I'll finish the hinge to get the hinge where I want it, and then I'll go from the other side, just wind my way around.